plane, both are in the transcendental range. Whereas when we see the material mode of nature, there is so very different. Each of the anger is so very different when we see in Tamoguna and Rajoguna and Sattvaguna. So there is material mode is mixed. So in spiritual world, anger is also pleasure. This anger and pleasure are on the same. This anger is not exhibited in the three modes of material nature. It is not out of Rajoguna, Tamoguna or Sattvaguna, but it is in the absolute plane. It is only a sign of his bent of mind towards the cause of his devotee. This is the Bhakta Vatsala. Especially is very loving towards Panchapandavas, for they have not taken any other shelter other than Krishna. They are fully dependent on Krishna. Kunti is also fully dependent on Krishna. So his mind is bent, the bent of mind towards the cause. It's said to be, it is only a sign of his bent of a mind towards the cause of a devotee. They're just exclusively dependent on Krishna, exclusively. So Krishna, I want to be like, be your servant and nobody else. That nobody else portion. I want to invest my complete faith on Krishna and on nothing else. That nothing else portion is missing. So here if you see Panchapandavas, they were exclusively dependent. And we see that Krishna's sign is this anger is nothing but his mind is bent. Krishna's mind is bent. Why Krishna is in Shyamam Trivanga Lalitam Niyata Prakasham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Why he is standing in a bent way? We go to some Narayana temple, Keshava Murti is there, Narayana Murti. Many Murtis are there. If you go to South India also, you will see many 400 forms of the Lord Vaikuntha, Vaikuntha Pathis, in various temples, and you will see that they are standing straight erect, and you will see that you can draw a line from the forehead till the middle of the feet, like everything is so very perfectly made. There is no crookedness, there is no bentness. Of course, they are also very kind towards their devotee, but there is nobody as kind or as bent towards the devotee like Krishna, where if you see, Krishna is totally bending towards devotional service. Radharani, who is expert in performing devotional service to Krishna. Radharani and Ashtasakis are expert. Ashtasakis are nobody but the expansions of Radharani. The first expansions of Radharani are Ashtasakis. Like the first expansion of Krishna is Balarama. Same way, the first expansion of Srimati Radharani is Ashtasakis. So Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Mandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. This way, everybody is expert in each one, and Radharani Ma is Atmanivedanam in charge. So you see that instead of standing straight, Krishna is not able to stand straight because of the perfection of devotional service performed by Radharani, that he is totally bent towards the cause of his devotee. Very clearly, how beautifully it is described. Prabhupada is Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So that anger which is shown now is nothing but the bent of his mind towards the cause of his devotee, because that is his transcendental nature. He gets attracted. Madana Mohana Mohini Radharani is called. And there is another name for devotional service. Another name for devotional service is Krishna Akarshini. Krishna Akarshini. The name Krishna is nothing, very simple. The name Krishna is very sweetly described by Srila Prabhupada. The meaning is nothing complex. It's so simple and beautiful. To understand the Supreme Lord in one word, Srila Prabhupada can give. Nobody can understand the Supreme Lord in completeness. But see how Srila Prabhupada, just in a conditioned state we are there, and he's just giving the original meaning of the name Krishna. Akarshana iti Krishna. He can attract all living entities. All living entities. Atmaramascha munayo nirgranti api urukrame. Kurvanti ahitukim bhaktim. But the secret is kurvanti ahitukim bhaktim. When that bending is happening, when the bend starts happening with the straight Lord, is kurvanti. We have to perform what? Ahitukim bhaktim. Unmotivated devotional service. Ahitukim bhaktim. Kurvanti ahitukim bhaktim. Okay, when I do kurvanti ahitukim bhaktim, what will happen? Idam, he will get, I can become a pure devotee, I can attain Krishna Prem. Idambu the guno harihi. So here Prabhupada is explaining that also. The same purport both are coming. Like how Krishna is bent, because it is transcendental nature. Idambu the guno harihi. This is the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, even if he is angry, the object of anger is blessed. Even if he is angry, if there is any relationship with Krishna, that is transcendental. But we should try to do Anukulya Bhakti instead of Pratikulya Bhakti. But anyway, therefore, even if he is angry, the object of anger is blessed. He is unchanged in all circumstances. So how sweet it is that any connection with the Supreme Lord is transcendental. At least like an atheist or a Kamsa, he wanted to kill Krishna, he thought of Krishna. So once he thinks of Krishna, that very moment it is transcendental. So very wonderful is the Lord that one who comes in touch with Krishna is benefited. One who comes in touch with Krishna is benefited. So in this way, how beautiful is this purport? One is the Ashwatthama is benefited because there is some relationship, regularly is interacting with Krishna. Because Krishna is, at the same time, it shows that how Krishna is sometimes Krishna is actually impartial, but sometimes it looks like he is partial to the devotees because he is getting, even though Krishna is attracting everybody, but he is getting attracted by pure, unalloyed, loving devotional service. He's getting attracted by that. That is the reason that here Krishna is getting angry, but still is angry. His eyes are not like fireballs, but his eyes are like lotus. Ambujekshana. Bhagavan Ambujekshana is mentioned here. Okay. Let us go to the next verse. Now Krishna is speaking. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.7.35. Mainam Parthahashi Tratum.
Mainam Parthahashi Tratum.
I forgot the tune of Brahma Bandhum Imam Jahi.
Brahma Bandhum Imam Jahi.
Yosav Anagashas Suputan.
Yosav Anagashas
Suptan. Avadin Nishi Balakan.
Avadin Nishi Balakan.
Mainam Partha Hasitratum.
Mainam Partha Hasitratum.
Brahma Bandhum Imam Jahi.
Brahma Bandhum Imam Jahi.
Yosav Anagasha Suptan.
Yosav Anagasha Suptan.
Avadin Nishi Balakan.
Avadin Nishi Balakan. Mainam Partha Hasitratum.
Mainam Partha Hasitratum.
Brahma Bandhum Imam Jahi.
Brahma Bandhum Imam Jahi.
Yosav Anagasa Suptan.
Yosha Anagasa Suptan.
Avadin Nishi Balakan.
Avadin Nishi Balakan.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ma enam, never unto him.
Ma Enam, never unto him.
Partha, O Arjuna,
Partha, O Arjuna,
ought to, Tratum.
Arhasi.
Arhasi, ought to.
Arhasi, ought to.
Arhasi. Out to.
Arhasi, ought to.
Tratum, give release.
Tratum, release.
Brahma Bandhum, a relative of a Brahmana.
Brahma Bandhum, a relative of Brahmana.
Imam, him.
Imam, him.
Jahi, kill.
Jahi, kill.
Yo, he who has.
Yeah, he who has.
Asau, those.
Asav, those.
Anagasa, faultless.
Anahasa, faultless.
Suptan, while sleeping.
Suptan, while sleeping.
Avadit, killed.
Avadit,
Nishi, at night.
Nishi, at night.
Balakan, the boys.
Balakan, the boys.
Translation, please repeat after me. Lord Sri Krishna said,
Lord Sri Krishna said,
O Arjuna,
O Arjuna,
you should not show mercy
you should not show mercy
by releasing this relative of a Brahmana, Brahma Bandhu,
by releasing the relative of this Brahmana, Bandhu,
for he has killed innocent boys in their sleep.
for he has killed innocent boys in their sleep.
Purport.
The word Brahma Bandhu is significant. A person who happens to take birth in the family of a Brahmana but is not qualified to be called a Brahmana is addressed as the relative of a Brahmana and not as a Brahmana. The son of a High Court judge is not a virtually a High Court judge, but there is no harm in addressing a High Court judge's son as a relative of the Honorable Justice. Therefore, as by birth only one does not become a High Court judge, so also one does not become a Brahmana simply by birthright, but by acquiring the necessary qualifications of a Brahmana. As the High Court judgeship is a post for the qualified man, so also the post of a Brahmana is attainable by the qualification only. The Shastra enjoins that even if good qualifications are seen in a person born in a family other than that of a Brahmana, the qualified man has to be accepted as a Brahmana. And similarly, if a person born in the family of a Brahmana is void of Brahmanical qualification, then he must be treated as non-Brahmana or, in better terms, a relative of a Brahmana. Lord Sri Krishna, the supreme authority of all religious principles, the Vedas, has personally pointed out these differences. He is about to explain the reason for this in the following shloka.
Sorry.
Hari Om Tat Sat. So, Lord Krishna said, O Arjuna, you should not show mercy by releasing this relative of a Brahmana, Brahma Bandhu. Go to the sloka. So in the sloka, it is said it is Brahma Bandhu, Brahma Bandhum Imam Jahi. And Prabhupada is stressing in the purport about the Brahma Bandhu. That a relative of a Brahmana or a friend of Brahmana, that is Brahma Bandhum Imam Jahi, is Brahma Bandhu. He is not a Brahmana. That means what? He is Brahma Bandhu means he is not a Brahmana. He is friend or relative of a Brahmana. And Prabhupada gives very nice this thing in the purport. The lawyer's son cannot be lawyer, doctor's son cannot be doctor. But anyone can become lawyer and doctor if they are qualified. Similarly, just because he got birth to Brahmana, he cannot be Brahmana. But then anyone can become a Brahmana by following the process and become qualified. Then what is the difference? Why still it is seen? It is because we have seen so many times the doctor marries another doctor as his wife or husband, and when they give birth to kids, they are making the kids also doctors. Why? It is not because doctor son should be doctor or Brahmana son should be Brahmana, but like in a doctor family, the children has more facilities to become a better doctors. Similarly, in a Brahmana family, when someone gets birth, they have facilities to become a Brahmana through his father and the processes in the life process in the house. So by following that, one should become Brahmana. So like that. Okay. So that is the main idea. And Brahmana means Brahmajnanatiti Brahmana. So he should know Brahman. He is not the body. He must have this particular understanding. I am not this body. Arjuna was teaching, Krishna was teaching Arjuna in the very second lesson that you are not the body. Tata dehantara prapti. Derastatrana mukhyati. So, like that, the knowledge should be there. And Krishna is continuously speaking in the subsequent words also. Can you show the purport? Okay, I'll share. Just a moment.
I'll share, no problem.
Yeah. Just want the purport part.
Do you want me to go to the next ones?
Yeah. So, Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay, you want to share, you share.
No, it's okay. The words I am not seeing.
No, it will be easy for you to scroll.
Okay, no problem. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, verse 36. Mattam pramatam unmattam.
Mattam pramatam unmattam.
Suptam balam sriyam jadam.
Suptam balam priyam
Prapannam viratham beetam.
prapannam
Prapaddam
Naripum hanti dharmavid.
nari pumhanti dharmavid.
Mattam pramatam unmattam.
Mattam pramattam unmattam.
Suptam balam striyam jadam.
Suptam balam striyam jadam.
Prapannam viratham beetam.
Prapannam viratam geetam.
Naripum hanti dharmavid.
Nari
Nariptum hanti dharmave. Mattam pramatam unmattam.
Mattam
mattam
pramatam
mattam
unmattam.
Suptam balam striyam jadam.
Suptam
suptam balam priyam jaram.
Prapannam viratam geetam.
prapannam viratham beetam.
Naripum hanti dharmave.
Naripum
Hanti dharmavid.
synonyms. Mattam, careless.
Mattam, careless.
Pramattam, intoxicated.
Pramatam, intoxicated.
Unmatam, insane.
Unmatam, insane.
Suptam, asleep.
Suptam, asleep.
Asleep.
Balam, boy.
Balam, boy.
Striyam, woman.
Sriyam, women.
Jadam, foolish.
Jadam,
Prapannam, surrendered.
Prapannam,
Viratam, one who has lost his chariot.
Viratam, one who has lost his chariot.
Beatam, afraid.
Beatam, afraid.
No, not.
not.
No, not.
Ripum, enemy.
Ripum, enemy.
Ripum, enemy.
Hanti, kill.
Hanti, kill.
Dharmavit, the one who knows the principles of religion.
Dharmavit, one who knows the principles of religion.
Translate. Please repeat after me. A person who knows the principles of religion
A person who knows the principles of religion
does not kill an enemy
Does not kill an enemy.
does not kill an enemy
who is careless,
who is careless,
intoxicated,
intoxicated,
insane,
insane,
asleep,
asleep,
afraid,
afraid,
or devoid of his chariot.
or devoid of his chariot.
Nor does he kill a boy,
Nor does he kill a boy,
a woman,
a woman,
a foolish creature, or a surrendered soul.
a foolish creature, or a surrendered soul.
Purport.
An enemy who does not resist is never killed by a warrior who knows the principles of religion. Formerly, battles were fought on the principles of religion and not for the sake of self gratification. If the enemy happened to be intoxicated, asleep, etc., as above mentioned, he was never to be killed. These are some of the codes of religious war. Formerly, war was never declared by the whims of selfish political leaders. It was carried out on religious principles free from all vices. Violence carried out on religious principles is far superior to so-called non-violence.
Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
You want to talk, or I'll add a little bit and you can continue.
Oh, why? Okay.
So, here very beautiful words and beautiful purport. When the Lord is speaking the lotus words from his lotus mouth, it is always very, very transcendental and beautiful. How beautifully the Lord is giving complete context to Arjuna. Now, there are further words also that we may need to go and see that what Lord is further telling to Arjuna. Then you will understand. There are some 4 or 5 verses which the Lord is speaking subsequently. For once understanding the context, it is not bad idea to read those translations put together as what Lord is speaking to Arjuna continuously. And then we come into the purport to understand better the context in which it is being spoken. So if you see, the Lord is telling him very nicely that whom not to be killed. Here, this particular, actually he is talking about Ashwatthama, and Ashwatthama has killed the sleeping person and all these things. Okay, you will also see there is an indication in this particular verse that the Lord is speaking, and you will find this Ashwatthama is also categorized under one of that, where not to be killed. You see the beauty. And Arjuna is intelligent enough to understand the clear indication of Lord Sri Krishna when he's speaking. So actually, he's talking about Ashwatthama, that is right. But he's talking about Ashwatthama in such a neutral way that Ashwatthama is the person who killed the enemy at the sleep also. He is the person, there are more to come that the Lord will tell. And like he has not pleased his master by such activity also. And he has not acted like a Brahmana. nor he has acted like a Kshatriya. Okay, he has acted like a foolish. A foolish activity has performed, and out of fear he did that, and he has released the Brahmastra. After that, he doesn't have any weapon, and he is very fearful. So many places where you will find not only that Ashwatthama has done the wrong thing, who is not to be killed, he has killed, but he is also in the position where he is not to be killed. In that particular situation, he has been put in. This is very, very beautiful. And Prabhupada is explaining it very nicely that violence carried out on religious principles is far superior to so-called non-violence. So here you can see the so-called Gandhi, who was very famous in India. Thank God nowadays people are forgetting, because that was a wrong idol, a wrong model that the people have spoken, and that's why India is still suffering. So there is nothing religion about Gandhi's speeches or Gandhi's way of life or Gandhi's instructions. Okay, and there was no reason. He was holding Bhagavad Gita, and as if he is teaching Bhagavad Gita, he is teaching non-violence, which is from his own speculation. Bhagavad Gita speaks about violence. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has induced Arjuna to wage war, not for non-violence. Okay, so this is totally misinterpretation given by the Gandhi. So we need to understand this statement is very strong. A religious principle for which you fight, that is much superior to so-called violence. I like this statement. So over to Shantha.
Haribol?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I already spoke on a verse.
Okay.
You want to continue or you want me to speak?
Yeah, you speak. I want to hear.
Okay, very important purport where Prabhupada is giving that the battles should not be fought for the sake of sense gratification. So in recent times, even the kingly order before the British rule also is projected like they want to catch another person's kingdom. So they were only thing to show the chivalry. To show the chivalry, which king is more means more who has more strength, they conquer the kingdoms. That is not the case. See here how wonderfully Prabhupada is writing in the purport. What should be the reason for a war? When can a war happen? Even if there is a war, what should be the reason for the war? The reason for the war should be for religious principles, to re-establish religious principles or principles of religion. Based on that only it has to be fought. The principles of religion very clearly describe that it shouldn't be for the sense gratification purpose, not a personal grudge. Here we see that Arjuna, why did he counteract the weapon? We saw that he saw that the disturbance which will be created to all the living entities. He saw, then he counteracted the weapon. So if the enemy happened to be intoxicated, asleep, etc., as above mentioned, he was never to be killed. Nowadays, what does war mean? The word war is used like innocent people are there, they'll bombard. They'll come in the flight and they'll bombard. The children, the ladies who are very innocent, they don't have anything to do with the war. They're just living there. So there are some codes of religious war. Formally, wars were never declared by the whims of selfish political leaders. A political leader, for his own selfish purpose or diplomatic political purpose, he will declare a war or he'll call off a war. So it was never declared like that. It was carried out on religious principles free from all vices. Violence carried out on religious principles is far superior to so-called non-violence. Sometimes non-violence is not appreciated. In this case, we see that Mahabharata war is encouraged by Krishna. He encouraged the Mahabharata war. It's not that, okay, God means the devotee means he should be very peaceful. Devotee means he should not get angry. These are all the wrong ideas. the materialistic persons put pressure or thrust that a spiritual person must be like this. He should not interfere in our business. Not like that. Krishna has the right to interfere in everybody's business. Because nobody has the business in the material world. Material world, the matter, the external energy is completely surrendered to Krishna. She is completely surrendered. But when there is a discomfort, even for an external energy, is when she is performing, when her duties, the living entity thinking itself to be the controller and taking over and misusing the objects of sense gratification for its own sense gratification. The sense and sensory objects are there. But whose sense has to be, who the sense belongs to? Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. It's a beautiful science. We can understand it very nicely in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna very clearly describes this, I think in 14th chapter or something, the field and field of activities, the knower of the field. In this chapter, he very clearly explains, actually, Rishika Isa, we have senses, we consider this body is mine. See, I'm not the body, I'm spirit, soul is one side. Another thing is, even as a soul, you consider your body to be yours because you're conscious. To an extent, very limited extent, we are conscious from our head to toe. We are conscious from our head to toe, we are conscious. So we are thinking that we own this body. But if there's a cancer, you're not able to identify. If you have some disease, oh, sorry, sir, you have come in a very advanced state, sir. The doctor says, which actually means you're actually not conscious of certain metabolic activities of your body. You're unconscious. You don't even know how your bone structure is there, unless otherwise somebody shows that. But if you try to open up and see, then you'll be dead by that time. So in this way, we consider ahankara vimudatma kartahamiti manyate. So the Mudatma thinks that he is the body. Not only that, he thinks he's the owner of the body, and he thinks the senses belongs to him. And then he thinks, okay, I will satisfy myself. For example, I'm very hungry, okay? And I have a bag with me. And I think that, okay, let me satisfy. I'm very hungry. So I will take all the food items and I'll keep on putting in that bag. Will I ever get satisfied? I'm filling the bag only. I'll never get satisfied because only the bag is getting filled with idli, dosa, and pongal. But I am not actually satisfied. My hunger is not fulfilled. So from this, understand actually who the bag belongs to. So in this way, the Supreme Lord actually is the owner of internal, external, and marginal potencies. All these are his potencies. So the external potency, both the senses and the sense object interact with each other. We are a third person. We are a third person to this. We are talking about the three modes of material nature acting. Good science. Yes. It is a good science, but it has nothing to do with you. Because the three modes of material nature, very easy to understand. Three modes of dash. What? It's three modes of material nature. First point number one is you're not material at all. So rather than, okay, neti, I should not be under three modes of material nature. I should not be under this. I should not be like that. Neti. Very simple to understand. Jiveru Sorubaya Krishna Nityadas. I'm spirit soul. I'm eternal servant of Krishna. My nature, even this very present moment, I may be in what body? Sometime I may be in dog body, cat body. I may be sometime in female body, sometime male body. Sometime I may be an American, sometime in African. Sometime I may be in the womb. Sometime I may be the Indra. Sometime in this way, even I'm a great traveler within the various vehicles. But certainly I have nothing to do with the vehicle. The vehicle is produced by some company and it knows the intricacies. The company knows the intricacies of the vehicle. So knowing who is the owner of the senses, Rishika Isa. And then we keep serving the Rishika Isa, not by satisfying the senses, but directly serving him. Directly the senses should be satisfied with Krishna Prasadam. The mouth must be satisfied. The eyes must be satisfied with the beautiful darshan of the Lord. The eyes must be sanctified and by seeing a pure devotee giving transcendental activities, sporting. The pure devotee is sporting with the Supreme Personality of God, and in various pastimes we can see how Guru Maharaj is sporting with Gauranga Mahaprabhu and his associates. Yesterday in Guru Maharaj's session, it came how a perfected jiva will sport with the Supreme Lord. So very, very nice purports yesterday, the very deep but very powerful. So many, very deep concepts were understood from that, like how the Lord and his pure devotees are sporting at every moment. The pure devotee is not actually worried about anything which is happening material, even though sometimes he may externally show so, but he is completely fixed up in the transcendence of the Lord. So Rishikena, Rishikesa Sevanam. So the Rishika is how we should understand this. So sense gratification is simple. That senses are there, sensory objects are there. Senses wants the sensory object. And it has to be given. Like if a man is there, he has to get married. And if you're hungry, you're supposed to eat. Because it is a natural metabolic activity. That is how the material nature works. And what is there to ponder upon the external energy? Sometimes Ravana wants to kidnap the internal energy and he's thinking of her so much. Same way the conditioned jiva want to associate with the external energy and continuously thinking. The modes of material nature belongs to external energy. What are we there to ponder so much upon it? That's a science. We learn it, but it doesn't belong to us. We are not that. We are belong to the spiritual potency. And if you want to ponder over the characteristics, we can ponder over the characteristics of the internal energy, the devotional service, how Sravanam happens, Kirtanam happens, how that happens. So internal energy is meditations, talks, conversations, discussions are pleasing to the spirit soul. That is what is discussed. Susukam kartumavyayam. The spirit soul will become completely satisfied by discussing those kind of topics. And of course, the spirit soul will be, because Krishna will empower any situation a devotee is in to execute Krishna consciousness. So we as a conditioned soul, we have come into this material world and we are in this material world situation and we come across a spiritual master. We really in the material world also, we don't know how to handle ourselves. And then Guru Maharaj involves us in devotional service, but we have not liberated it. We are in the conditioned state. So Krishna will also empower us with the tactics and techniques of the situation we are in, the materialistic world, where what are all the senses, what are all the sensory objects, how they interact with each other, what are all the three modes of material nature, what are all the kleshas which are there. So we'll be very well equipped in order to preach. And of course, we will also understand that whatever is happening to us in any of this is actually happening because not the three modes of material nature. It is part of the material nature and it is not her. We are not external energy. We don't belong to external energy. And if we have to be submissive, if we have to be servant, we have to be servant of the internal energy. But we also doesn't belong to the internal energy, but we are marginal potency. But we are actually spiritual in nature. So we are also Shakti of the Lord, and we have to take shelter. Daivim Prakritim Ashrita. We have to take shelter of the internal potency of the Lord. So in this way, very, very wonderful that the senses and sensory objects are interacting with each other. And we as a spirit soul is supposed to involve in the transcendental activities throughout, day in and day out, the transcendental activities of remembering the Lord, talking about the Lord, hearing about the Lord. In this way, and consistently we can do it despite so many things. Very beautiful verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that how Lord Chaitanya, he goes and brushes the teeth, he takes bath, he changes his dress. So the description is given that out of habit, one does automatically, his hands and legs were moving and he just did automatically because it is like a habit, it becomes habitual. Yeah. What is there to talk? When you see the materialistic people, I feel really, really sad for them because it's a daily happening, brushing the teeth or having some beverage in the morning, and then they have some breakfast, and then they have lunch, then they have dinner, and then they go, the child go to the school. It's like a routine, and they've been doing like 365 days a year, 3 times a day they are eating, and they're doing all these activities, brushing and taking bath like this. But when they call each other, when they talk to each other, have you taken bath? Have you eaten? What did you eat today? What is the menu? The same thing. But all this belongs to the mental nature. Of course, for us it is prasadam, so we can inquire, but not in a very detailed manner. Not in a very detailed manner. It's a waste of time, actually. It's a waste of time. So habituated. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became habituated with this everyday routine. He just did it mechanically, because really it's a mission. It is not that, okay, I will tomorrow onwards, I will not restrain. I will restrain myself from doing consciously all my work. No. We are consciously living beings only. That is the truth. That's a simple truth. There's nothing complex in it. Just Prabhupada said that you need not realize it. Theoretically take it that you are the spirit soul. Theoretically believe, have trust, have faith, trust the spiritual master, trust the Acharya Parampara, trust Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. He says you are not the body, you are spirit soul. Trust him and just be situated there. And that's it. Then you know that everything else is happening around you. It's just that everything is a three-module work, and we need not ponder over it and sit and open the machine and look at the machine, what is happening inside. This is going left, that is going, this is the gear, this is this. We are not interested. Because we are devotees. We are interested in transcendental subject matter. And the persons who are interested in these kind of subject matter is called Vayasa Tirtha. Anywhere these kind of discussions. So Vayasa Tirtha is voluntary discussions. See, for employment, we may discuss some things, we may learn some things. That is different for earning money. But voluntarily, as a personal desire, should always be inclined towards devotional service, because that is our nature. So here we see that the sense gratification is the reason. So sense gratification is the reason for declaring the war. So war, then they kill each other. Even though the spirit soul cannot be killed still. But for a religious purpose, Krishna may encourage war, because that is required at that particular point of time. Why war? You see Brahma and Manu. Bhutva praliyate. They're like how to say, you clean your table. There are so many microorganisms. Every day morning you come, just clean the table, and then you start working on your table. You don't even realize that there are so microorganisms which are killed. But actually it's part of our duty. That is why a grahastha should actually, there are many places we are killing. That's why a grahastha should always offer to the Supreme Lord, and then only is supposed to perform religious principles. Or the main thing is better to worship Krishna directly and offer the prasadam and take and use everything in the service of Krishna. In this way, we will be broken. But this Bhutva Praliyate is actually a duty of Brahma and Manu, that at the end of every kalpa, or there is a pralaya, the end of Brahma's day, the pralaya, and there is Brahma goes to sleep, and the full earthly planetary system, everything is in water. So it has to be filled with water, and Brahma is seeing so many living entities die. He's not sitting there and lamenting, what will happen to these people? All of them are dead and permanently. He's situated, he's Mahabhagavata Bhakta. Mahabhagavata Bhakta. He can see. And he is not bothered. So what if this testosterone, they will again be born again, and again they will go under this chakkar marega. Again and again, this living entities will go under the chakkar. So he's just washing, just cleaning it. And then he goes to sleep in the night, and next day how to create. Lord is again making an arrangement, giving the instruction to Brahma in the father's lap, father, mother, everything is Guru. Father, mother, Guru, everything. Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dana, Pran and Guru, everything, even the ingredient for his creation, everything. For Brahma, everything is Krishna. Everything is Mahavishnu. And the father, Guru, he teaches how to create the next day. How fortunate to be born the lap of the Supreme Lord. And he creates again. So war is required. Then Lord orders that there will be a pralaya. And there will be a pralaya. If one has to execute it, they will execute and they won't sit and lament. The karma won't come to me because if there is a Mayavadi, he will sit and philosophically. This is called mental speculation or speculative. That's tearing apart the transcendence. Tearing apart, because we can understand that they are completely materially situated. They seriously believe that they are the body. We need not realize that we are not the body. But we have to believe the scripture. We have to have trust and faith on the spiritual master. And Prabhupada, he's again and again telling, and you're not American, Indian, I'm this, I'm that. Sarvo upadir vinimuktam tatparatvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesa sevanam. Bhakti ruchyate. Situated on the transcendental. The emotions which come then after is 100% spiritual. But a foolish materialistic person cannot understand this. The emotions which are coming on that platform are fully transcendental in nature. But a materialistic person will think it is matter. See here how Prabhupada is explaining that how the anger of Krishna became angry, but his eyes were like lotus flowers. So here the anger of Arjuna, of course, anger of Yashoda is also transcendental level. So in the anger of a pure devotee and anger of Krishna, like anger of Narada Muni when seeing Nalakuvera Manikriva and cursed, it's in transcendental level. So the anger of a pure devotee and Krishna are in absolute nature. You see this. Arjuna, this means that the angry mood of Arjuna and that of Lord are not on the same level. Of course, Jiva and the Ishvara, that difference is there. Jiva and Ishvara, the difference is there. At the same time, absolute anger, the emotion which comes from the transcendental platform is totally different from the anger which is arising from three modes of material nature. So here, Prabhupada is explaining here how nice it is. Because he is absolute, both his anger and pleasure are done on the same level. His anger is not exhibited in the three modes of material nature. It is only a sign of his bent mind towards the cause of his devotee. So Krishna is Bhaktavatsala, he is the provider and protector. So he will get angry when the devotee is getting disturbed. So this is what is Krishna's anger, because that is his transcendental nature, Bhaktavatsala. So same way, we see here that the war is declared for a particular purpose. The war has to be there for a particular purpose. If Krishna desires so, then it will be there. So violence carried out of the religious principle is far superior to so-called non-violence. Sometimes they will kill cows. And when we object, then they'll say, no, non-violence. No, you cannot object it to you, non-violence. Be patient. Why you have to be worried? Why you're interfering? Why you're getting angry? They think that the devotee can never get angry. So here, very amazing statement of Srila Prabhupada that a violence carried out on religious principle is far superior to so-called non-violence. So this is, the many people ask us to justify Kurukshetra war. Sometimes when I give lecture earlier, I have heard these questions many times. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why did he encourage war? And so many people were killed. How can Lord allow many killing like this? So no reading of Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, it is mentioned, nobody can be killed. They will be reborn again with another. One dress is torn, you will get another dress. Anyway, they are not permanently being erased from the, not only surface of earth, but eternity. No, nobody can be erased from eternity. Neither the external energy, nor the internal energy, nor the marginal energy. External energy is manifest and unmanifest, but in Mahatattva, it is still present only. It is not that, okay, the external energy is temporary. No, external energy is also eternal. Eternal means Nitya. Nitya means permanently existing. Internal energy also permanently existing. Marginal, nothing can be destroyed. Everything is present. Only material nature has this. There is, I don't know how this science word, one energy can be transformed from one form to another, but it cannot be destroyed. Energy can neither be destroyed nor be created. Yes, neither energy, external energy, this material nature cannot be created because it's already existing. Krishna's external energy is eternal. Not destroyed because it's eternal, so it cannot be destroyed. But it will transform, it will be in Mahatattva form, then by the glance of the Lord, it will become manifest. And then by the will of the Lord, it will become unmanifest. So in this way, the external energy is playing along with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's having its pastimes by manifest and unmanifest nature. But the Jiva, the Vimudhatma, Jiva is mistakenly identifying this game to be related with it. Actually, the Jiva has to play the game along with the internal potency and the Supreme Lord. That is why we worship Gauranga. Gauranga is a complete package of both Krishna and Radharani. Yesterday in Chaitanya Leela class, there was a very beautiful verse, amazing Upanishads, which are giving very amazing explanations, very profound. And in that, one should get the mercy of internal potency to get the mercy of Krishna. And at the same time, it's said one should worship Krishna in order to get the mercy of internal potency. In this way, we want both of them. And so the intelligent transcendentalist person who worship them is beyond the lamentation, beyond all these material modes. It is mentioned. So directly we worship Gauranga. So we don't have this confusion. Okay, if I worship Krishna, Radharani will be very pleased. And no, Krishna will never be allowed take any worship without the mercy of Radharani. Now it's like that. It has become an infinite loop, a vicious circle. So should I worship Krishna to get or chant Krishna's name to get the mercy of Radharani? Or should I first surrender to Radharani and then get the mercy of Krishna? What should I do? Like there's no confusion. Simply worship Gauranga. And that's it. And you're pleasing both. And then with the instruction of Gauranga, following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya, we perform devotional service. So it's a perfection. We have Bhagavan and we have Bhakti together. And we worship both in the altar. Alone worshipping Bhagavan, then I don't know how far we are from Bhakti. Whether our Bhakti is correct, a Haituki Bhakti. So are we having a Haituki Bhakti? We don't know. So many fear may be there. And if we worship Bhakti, then we may lose track of Bhagavan. So what to do now? Where is Bhagavan? Bhagavan is the object of worship of Bhakti. How can I miss him? So when we worship Lord Gauranga, we are getting it as a package that both and Bhagavan and the Bhakti is worshipped together. So this is the purport of Bhagavatam, where Narada Muni is advising Vyasadeva that you didn't glorify the Supreme, not bring the glories of the Supreme Lord and pastimes of Supreme Lord, name, form, pastimes and entourage of a Supreme Lord, qualities of Supreme Lord, as well as you didn't glorify devotional service. He tells not chastises, he instructs Vyasadeva with both the things, not just only one Krishna alone or only devotional service alone. So Krishna and devotional service go hand in hand. It is like the trains to the things in which both the wheels have to go on the train track. So when you are in the right track in Krishna consciousness, when you take Lord Chaitanya as the primary object of worship in your heart, and then you chant Hare Krishna Mantra, worship Radha Krishna, everything you do. But the primary object of worship should be Guru and Gauranga in the heart. Then we are in the perfect path, situated in perfect path of Krishna consciousness, which our Acharya Parampara desires us to be. Thank you very much. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Rajeshwar, anything you want to add or conclude?
No, it was nice. Any questions or comments or realization? Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0. So thank you very much for your association. Guru Maharaj is giving class for the Russian community. Just now started in Facebook. If anybody would like, please join and hear that. There will be English class plus translation will be given in Russian. And we'll join again back tomorrow morning, sharp at 5 o'clock, by chanting the holy name of the Lord congregationally and followed by Srimad Bhagavatam class. Gurandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Patita Pawan Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Patita Pawan Srila Guru Maharaj ki jai. Bhagavat Satsang ki jai. So Ishara family is not here because maybe yesterday Daresh went there and staying. So they may be busy.
Yeah, I think Daresh Prabhu is checking out the feasibility of Guru Maharaj staying there.
Yes. He has taken yesterday Vishwambar, Ishwar Vishwambar, also both of them I saw in their house.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I also saw online. I think they're doing a Reiki, whether Guru Maharaj, if he comes near the airport, whether he can stay there or not. So I think they are seeing the feasibility.
Okay, great.
I informed Ishara that Guru Maharaj will be going to Bangladesh on 4th. So he's coming to airport.
Yeah, he's leaving on
So
2nd.
alarm, she has alarmed.
Yeah,
so she immediately
tomorrow Guru
called.
Maharaj is leaving. Tomorrow Guru Maharaj is leaving from here, from Mayapur to Kolkata. And I think on 3rd he's flying out to Bangladesh. And yeah, that's good. I told also yesterday Guru Maharaj there's a good transit.
Yes.
But
The house is a little small for Guru Maharaj, but it's okay.
Yeah, but I was only telling because you said they have other houses to hire for guests if they are coming, so servants can stay there. For that, there are 2 more houses are available. So then it is okay, possible. Otherwise, Guru Maharaj,
you can discuss with Daresh Prabhu.
Yeah. I think Daresh should have discussed with them. No problem.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Kripa